Hello Year 8, we are continuing on with plants and photosynthesis. Before we start, we have a few ground rules. First of all, turn off your phone or put it in a different room. Secondly, don't have any other tabs open on your computer. Thirdly, answer all the questions. If you need to, pause the video when you do. Number 4, you can always rewind and listen again if you are not sure. And finally, don't give up. Before we start the bulk of the main lesson, I want you to have a go at these do now questions. These are to help you remember what you have already done before and to find out what you can do and what you cannot. So pause the video and answer these questions. Using a green pen, I want you to assess the questions. So pause the video and assess your answers. By the end of this session, I want you to be able to do the following things. Number 1, label the xylem and phloem. Number 2, describe the role of the xylem and phloem in transporting water and sugars. And finally, describe the path of water and glucose around the plant. Now, due to the nature of how these lessons are being conducted, we will not be unable to do a practical. However, the practical you would have done is as follows. It's a way of investigating how water travels up a plant. So if we were in school, what I would have got you guys to do is, you would have had a beaker of a dye is a pigment, and a celery stick. You place a celery stick in the dye, you wait a while. What you should notice is that the dye travels up the celery. Okay, there are veins inside the celery and the dye travels up to the leaves. To explain a bit more regarding the movement of dye in the celery, there's a video here. So put the video into your tab and watch this video. That should hopefully explain a little bit more about how things travel up the veins in plants. Up till now, I have been using the word veins to describe the tubes inside a plant, the tubes that allow movement of substances up and down the main stem. Now these two sets of tubes, they actually have names. The first one is xylem. Now the xylem moves water and minerals from the roots to the leaves. The xylem allows movement upwards. The phloem, on the other hand, this is the second type of tube or vein, carries glucose from the leaves all around the plant. So in the phloem, there's movement up the plant and down the plant. The xylem only moves substances upwards. Now pause the video and have a think. Why do you think sugars need to be transported up and down the plant? Have a think. Now going back to the practical, okay, this is what you would have done. You would have carried out the following instructions to see what's inside the celery stalk. The celery is a good piece of vegetable to use because it's not darkly coloured and you can see the veins quite easily. So number 1, collect a tile and scalpel. You would then remove your celery from the beaker of dye and place it on that white tile, and then you would cut the stem horizontally, okay, and identify the xylem. How do you think you would identify the xylem? How would you know it's the xylem and not the phloem? The colour, of course. Okay, remember, the xylem only allows movement upwards. The dye would be travelling up, so the xylem would be the coloured tube. And voila, this is what you would see. Okay, if you cut your celery horizontally, you would see tubes of dye, and these are the xylem. If there are any other tubes there that are colourless, they are your obviously phloems. Now there is a thing called gravity. Gravity has a tendency to pull things downwards, okay, pull things towards it. So on planet Earth, Earth's gravity is pulling things down. The question now that we need to ask is, how does then, in that case, water travel up? How does water travel up a plant when gravity is pulling it down? Well, the answer to that is one word: transpiration. There's something called transpiration which causes the water to travel up the plant. So what happens is, you have water evaporating from the leaf surface. Okay, water is evaporating out of the leaves or from their surfaces. This caused a suction effect on water inside the xylem, which in turn causes a suction effect on the water inside the roots, which in turn causes suction effects on the water surrounding the roots. Transpiration. Now, I'm not very happy to use the word suction effect because there are other better words to use. However, for now, this will do. As long as you understand, water is evaporating from the leaves, and this causes a pulling effect all the way down to the water outside the roots at the bottom of the plant. Okay, time for you to do a written task. Okay, you have 5 minutes to answer this question, and the question is basically, or the task is, describe how water, minerals and glucose are transported around the plant. Now, in your answer, you must include the names of the tissues involved, okay, i.e. the tubes, and where the substances travel from and to. You may use the keywords xylem, roots, osmosis, evaporation, phloem, glucose, minerals and water. Now pause the video and do this task. Okay, you had your 5 minutes. You now need to assess your work. So you look at the mark scheme, pick up a green pen, use the green pen and go through your answer. Correct, amend, improve or mark. To finish off this session, you now need to complete the KPI task or the work booklet that comes with this PowerPoint/video. You have 10 minutes to do this in. Pick up green pens and mark your work. Pause the video if need be. Okay, it says question 1C. Now this task is quite an interesting one. All you had to do was draw a cartoon showing the journey of a water molecule as it travels up through a plant. So the things you could have shown are the water molecule or water particle entering the root via osmosis, moving up the stem, entering the leaf, and finally leaving the leaf through the stomata via evaporation. Continue to mark your extension tasks if you have attempted these, and if you have, well done. If you haven't, guys, seriously, have a go. Top set, okay? You know my expectations.